This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason Glick, how you doing?
I am doing great, John, because you know where we're recording this from?
Where are we recording it from?
We're recording it from the Hyatt Hotel at San Jose for Funime.
FanimeCon, indeed. Yeah,
Yes.
Lots of fun and
Why?
all that other bullshit. Oh,
Why?
someone else is here.
Yes, that's right.
Vader.
That's a different sound than we're used to hearing from this recording. So everyone, I'd like to give a big welcome back to my friend Steve. And chances are, yes, welcome back, Steve.
Yeah, Steve has been on the podcast before, just through Skype, I believe.
Yeah, that was for what, Future Diary?
Yes, and if you've been...
I hate you.
Yes, because if you've noticed all the times that I've linked to like an example of something that's so bad it's good, it's like I linked to my Future Diary podcast, which Steve was a part of.
Yes.
Yes, and believe it or not, I didn't actually plan this latest podcast with him, involving him, but he actually turns out to he's actually going to be fulfilling the same function here, because we're talking about buried garbage of manga. Now, I know you're going like, Jason, like the last couple of times you've done this for Funime, you've talked about buried treasures of manga. Well, turns out just as there's like plenty of other great stuff and great manga treasures that have been lost to the sands of time. There's also been some stuff that has deservedly been forgotten for good reason. And I want to talk about one in particular, one that Steve read years ago when he was living at some mutual friend's house. And, he just read because...
May it burn forever.
Yeah, that about sums it up here. Because I'm talking about this series called Wounded Man. It's written by Kazuo Koike, who's given us some genuine classics, or one all-time classic in the form of Lone Wolf and Cub, and plenty of other great series such as Crying Freeman, Path of the Assassin, and Samurai Executioner. But Wounded Man is kind of a really special case, because this is a series published by Comics One back in the early days of the manga revolution. So early, in fact, that it was actually flipped, that you read this normally for American readers and being reads from left to right. And I can only imagine the whole reason this was published in the first place is because of Dark Horse's immense success with Koike's Lone Wolf and Cub at the time. So they just went looking for what else can we get from this guy that is going to be that is cheap and we can publish and we can publish. So they came up with this series, and oh god, Wounded Man is a special kind of awful, and I am not surprised that it has remained unlicensed and not licensed rescued even by Dark Horse, seeing as how they've shown a willingness to pick the cherries of Tokyo Pop's back library clean. So, Wounded Man, what is it about, really? It's about a guy named Keisuke Ibaraki, whose life was ruined by an organization called GPX. Steve, what does GPX stand for?
Ostensibly, it stands for God's Pornographic X-Rated Films,
Yes.
I think.
And that should tell you exactly what kind of series we're talking about here, because it starts off with this one girl, Yuko, reporter in Japan, who also was pretty good at karate, and she goes to Brazil to learn about these Japanese guys who are making a living in the current Brazil gold rush. Mind you, the series was published in the mid '80s, so that should give you an idea of the time and mindset we're dealing with here. And so she goes there with her crew, and it turns out that there's this one Japanese guy here who goes by the name of the White-Haired Demon, and he's the supposed to be the most badass person out there. And when she winds up encountering this guy, he just rapes her right on the spot just to teach her a lesson. Because this is too dangerous for you. So you might as well just go home. But no.
Have a gentle raping on your way out.
Yes, and it's not really a real raping because he's still the hero. He just sticks it in her, pierces her hymen, and realizes, you're a virgin. Okay, that's good enough. I'm going to leave you. I assume you've learned your lesson. You're just going to go home and assume that hey, you're just going to go lead a normal life from here on out. But no, she she's so angry at this guy that she's going to go and expose him for the cretin he is, and this leads to her and her crew going into the Brazilian wilds, getting running afoul of the locals, and then being rescued by Keisuke. And as the locals have basically tied her to a tree and are basically forcing her crew to rape her in order to be freed from their evil clutches. But Keisuke shows up, grabs the tree that Yuko is tied to, and starts swinging it around to take out these bad locals, the mafia. Because mafia's bad.
Yeah, clearly.
Just know that these are bad guys, really.
Mafia.
Yes, mafia.
Okay.
And of course, at one point, it's like Casey winds up getting blood in his eyes, and so he asks Yuko, who was tied naked to this tree, to just piss on his face so he can clear all the blood from his eyes. And of course, she does this because, ladies and gentlemen, this is the kind of series that we're talking about here. And this review is just going to be nothing but summaries of what's in this manga, because it just defies belief that that someone could put out a manga as trashy and ridiculous as this.
You can sort of see why no publisher really wants to do anything more with this property. No one really wants to touch this thing with a goddamn barge pole.
Yeah, it's a Japanese male power fantasy run completely amok. Circa 1985.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah,
I'm going to dig out some quotes from the first volume. So why don't you go ahead and keep on doing the thing?
Because here's the thing, this just to show you why this is Japanese male power fantasy. I've talked about Keisuke's first love, Natsuko, who was a Japanese she was a leader of a Japanese girl gang that Keisuke managed to win over to his side through sheer manliness. But the thing is that Keisuke he's a star quarterbacker back in college, and why is he a quarterback when Japan gives not one shit about American football? Well, that's because this is the age when Japan was in the bubble economy and poised to take on the world, and so what better way could there be to show a Japanese dominance over America by having one of its own citizens be an American quarterback?
I was the quarterback of my football team, so you're no match for me, though you know karate.
Yes. And it's and Casey's signature move throughout the series is a quarterback charge where he goes, ready, set, go, and he just knocks the opponent, whoever he may be, out by using a standard quarterback charge. It is ridiculous and ridiculous and silly.
I want to stop you there for a moment. Standard quarterback charge, because that's a move American quarterbacks use. They charge the shit out of their opponents.
Yes.
Please continue.
Yes. Well, I don't know. I think they Koike pays as much attention to American football as I do. So,
well, there we go then.
Mm-hmm.
That explains that.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of he's taking all the symbols of American dominance and just filtering through a Japanese perspective, which makes for a fascinating read as the series goes on. But as the series goes on, Keisuke eventually wins over Yuko. We find out the sad story of Keisuke's first love, Natsuko, because apparently they were recruited by GPX to be the next stars in their films. GPX gets all the great stars, but apparently, including that one that you've seen in all the films, and that other guy you've seen in these other movies as well. But now their tastes move over to sports stars, and that's why they get Keisuke and his girlfriend, and they just try to starve them, in their prison. But Keisuke and Natsuko basically they show them, hey, our love is stronger than this, and eventually Natsuko bites off her tongue in order to give Keisuke the means to fight on and defeat the bad guys. And Keisuke's hair eventually turns white after finding out that his mother is raped and killed by GPX because he wouldn't play ball with them. Yeah. It just keeps getting better and better here. And then you get Keisuke, eventually winning over Natsuko. She hates him, but she loves him in equal measure. Because, that's how real emotions between humans work. So
I'm here looking at this scene where her vagina is itchy for plot reasons. Okay,
Yeah.
so she knocks the fuck out of this Keisuke dude, and then starts raping him.
Yeah, the series is
to deal with the itch.
The
It's
series
pretty
is porno as fuck, man. I mean, I don't know what to say here. I mean, Koike's work has always had a healthy amount of sex in here, but this is kind of like, wow. It's like, man, this is almost like, it's like you know porn when you see it, and this is kind of like if we had it, and it's like you're just saying like the artist Ryoichi Ikegami in one of his earlier works and first collaboration with Koike, I believe. Apparently, he's adhering to Japanese censorship standards and just does not draw Keisuke's penis throughout the course of the series, because Japan has this thing against drawing genitalia. So you get these impressionistic glimpses of Keisuke's manhood, but most of the time you're just saying like, yeah, Keisuke got no dick. That's how it rolls with him. So, but I mean, you get the eventually it's like the first 3 volumes, which are double sized as Comics One published them, basically cover the Keisuke's whirlwind romance with Yuko, and his acquiring of a giant jungle fortune and some really awful native stereotypes as well, which it's kind of like I could take him to task for perpetrating these kinds of stereotypes, but it's kind of like when you're taking Japan to task for ethnic stereotyping, it's kind of like mocking the mentally challenged. No, they don't know better. It sounds awful, but really, that's Japan just has not shown any inclination to really learn about this kind of stuff. So plus it's from the 80s. I mean, yes, it's absolutely terrible, and just one more reason why the series has likely remained unlicensed rescued all this time, and one more reason why it's this is how buried garbage. I mean, I'm telling you, people, the series is terrible. I mean, yes, it's not boring, but it's still terrible. I mean, it's like I'm not saying this is like awesome in its like in how it finds new and interesting ways to be terrible, like Future Diary. I mean, Future Diary at least managed to avoid any insensitive racial topics and misogyny, which god, man, it's Keisuke just overpowers every woman he sees here, from Natsuko to Yuko to Diamond Peggy, the white female shipbuilder who becomes his third major love in the course of the series, and and who also gives her life to save Keisuke, because that's how he is. He just is so manly that he gives his all to overpower all the girls here. So it's kind of it's ridiculous, and but hey, Keisuke gets this gigantic fortune towards the end of Volume 3, and then everything. That's kind of the halfway point. Is first 3 volumes, double-sized volumes. Then you get volumes 4 through 9, which are regular sized, and the back half of the series, and things just get even crazier, because then he returned. Now that he's got this gigantic $4 trillion fortune, he returns to
Did you say trillion?
Trillion.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, that's true. And he returns to the States to assume the identity of Joe Tsurugi. It's like billionaire, a trillionaire entrepreneur who buys his own football team, becomes his manager, and its star quarterback.
Yes.
And Peggy becomes Diamond Peggy, supermodel, fashionista, and everything. And their goal is to because he's a superstar athlete, and she's just really fucking hot. They're gonna get GPX's attention, and then he's gonna find a way to track them down, beat them at their own game. Well, turns out that the GPX porno wing is being run by the mafia, and after he takes out their mafia head while losing Peggy in the process, because of course she's gonna die, because that makes it extra tragic. Extra with an X.
Yeah.
Yes. And of course, because Keisuke as Joe Tsurugi has conquered American, American sports and American media, now he can conquer the American mafia. Yeah, because he's taking out the GPX head, mafia head who's making all the pornos, and he's running the mafia now from New York's Little Italy. It's and he's also got his own buddies, this American cop who has this big dude who has to fuck a girl every day or else his blood will go bad. This gay sports car driver and this wimpy little mafia guy who tried to kill Casey by stabbing him, but after he stabbed him, Casey just flexed the knife out of his arm and it was okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of these things.
Yeah,
and
that's kind of like a thing that Keisuke does over the course of the series. He flexes to get shit out of the system, like bullets, knives, really in the second half of the series, and also just to walk around without his shirt off. Because for God's sake, he runs ladies. I don't know if this is just interesting at all, but he just walks around the last 2/3 of the series without a shirt because he's just flexed it right off of his body. Because that's what he does. And it's ridiculous, but at the same time, you're just showing this is the 80s. It's how you showed you were a man. You walk around without a shirt off, show you how completely ripped and burly you were.
He didn't need body armor. He's in Volume 1, he's deflecting 32 caliber bullets with his muscles.
But 32 caliber is a shitty caliber, though.
It is a shitty caliber, but it's still a bullet, and bullets still fucking hurt because they go into you and then they kill you. But not this guy.
But it's 32 caliber.
Shut up!
Okay. Stevens are our resident gun expert, so I'll take him at his word there. Okay. But after he takes over the mafia, he winds up running afoul of GPX's latest assassin, the 16-year-old Misty. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, she's 16-year-old. She's over the age of consent in most states.
But more importantly, in Japan.
Yes. Yeah. So she. Yeah, that's the important thing here because he's sexed all of these other women of legal age. Now he's gonna hey, I'm so burly and sexy I can even take on girls who I'm not even really supposed to be taking on. Chances are, I'm willing to bet that if we read the original Japanese edition of this, we found out that maybe she's not 16.
Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows?
Yeah.
Let's not think about that. In any event, he probably just rips her in half and calls it a day.
Well, it's he does penetrate her just in the same way he did Yuko because that's how he rolls.
Just a tip.
Yeah, and she of course falls in love with him in the same way, and believe it or not, she's actually the girl that he winds up with at the end of the series. She survives all of this to be the girl that he winds up with when he becomes the head of the CIA.
Wait, what?
Yes, because as it turns out that I'm getting ahead of myself here, but after Keisuke becomes the head of the mafia, he basically winds up running afoul of GPX's head guys, General White and Indian Joe, whose names are, well, yes, they are completely indicative of their racial backgrounds. Really, honestly, and. No, I'm really being serious here. General White is is a complete honky, and Indian Joe is Native American, and they get their army from the Veterans Administration. Yes, the VA, made up of vets from all wars to take out our protagonists, and then there's crazy shit like when Keisuke and his crew have to hide in a church converted into a disco. They have to find the $2 bills because the $2 bills are the symbols of the devil, and then toss them out in front of the church to ward off the veterans guys who are saying, "Oh no, $2 bills, symbols of the devil."
Oh yeah, I read that part. Yes. All right, now I have context.
Yeah.
God, that's even stupider than I thought.
Yeah, and at the one point when Indian Joe starts taking the bazooka to the Chinooks that come down into New York to rescue Keisuke and his crew, but it turns out it turns the VA guys against them because the Chinooks are the symbol of America and rescue, the VA guys were, hey, these things are the symbols of hope in Nam when they came down to rescue us, and now it's like they're shooting at us, and they're the bad guys. So it's like General White and Indian Joe have to do like a belt fight. Like they have to grab a belt and just fight each other with knives, because apparently that's what they did back in Nam to amuse their captors or something.
They hold onto a belt and knife fight.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then then you get this. The final two volumes are basically White and Joe have been captured, and they're fighting on Keisuke's aircraft carrier that he apparently has repurposed as a multinational medical facility for goodwill.
His aircraft carrier. Okay.
Because you can do a lot of crazy shit when you got $4 trillion to your name.
I guess so.
Yeah, and best of all, it's the point where after White and Joe they keep trying to beat Keisuke at his own game, getting to fire missiles at the Statue of Liberty to blow it up, but turns out the missiles aren't armed; they're just dummy missiles.
That still cause significant structural damage to the Statue of Liberty when they strike it?
No, they don't strike it at all.
So, okay,
yeah. Because it turns out that White realizes the story of Meng Huo, which if you've ever played Dynasty Warriors,
fuck you.
No, I'm serious. They actually pull in some Dynasty Warriors shit here, or Romance of the Three Kingdoms, really. When it's like when Zhang Fei, the chief strategist for Shu, basically took on Meng Huo of the southern continent, and how we beat him 7 times in order to show him that hey, it was ultimately that you cannot beat us, so you have to submit. And so that's what Keisuke is doing when White and Indian Joe are fighting on the aircraft carrier. It's like, hey, you can't beat us. You cannot beat us, so you're ultimately going to have to submit. And ultimately, that's what White and Indian Joe do, revealing that GPX is no more. It was a CIA program called General Personnel X-Files that was used to create and manipulate certain certain followers for the CIA and shit.
You just can't make this shit up.
No, I can't. This is actual story. And then once Keisuke realizes that his vengeance over all these previous volumes has been futile, he goes into the homeless section of New York, and then he just goes there to live, and realizing, what do I still want to fight them? Do I still want to fight these people who have ruined my life? And he realizes, and his main goal is if I take the handouts from the homeless shelter, I will just just be surviving and not living. And so but he doesn't, and then he breaks down a wall after not having eaten for 7 days, and realizes, hey, I still want to fight. And then the story ends when he reveals that he has become the head of the CIA, and that Misty is still alive, and that they're still in love, and that they they'll pay tribute to all of Keisuke's previous loves and his mom, at their family memorial at the end.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and that's I'm going to complete. Oh yeah, by the way, spoiler warning for this entire podcast. Because it's really, if I gave a shit about spoiling any of the series for you, I would say that up front. But really, this is buried garbage. It's the kind of series that you talk about with your friends. Just say, hey, I can't believe a series that does this shit exists. And there you go. Because Wounded Man, like I said, it's not boring. It does all this crazy ass shit over the course of its run that does make it memorable. It does not make it good. It's and yeah, I'll admit, all this fun we've been having for the past 20, 30 so minutes makes it we're endorsing the kind of behavior that
I'm not.
Yes, I mean we're trying to tell you that hey, this is all complete shit. Everything you do not. This does not represent any kind of any standard of like respectable human behavior in a series. And it's got, like I say, it's terrible, but like I say, it's not boring, it's not good, and it probably best deserves to be forgotten. I mean, you can listen and say, hey, this sounds awesome, but no, it's like just as long as you can enjoy it, just so long as you recognize that this is not like that this does not represent any kind of mindset that should be replicated in public
by anyone, anywhere, ever.
Exactly. Thank you, Steve. And on that note, though, is there anything else that I'm forgetting to mention here that I should, in context with the series?
Oh, man. No. I mean, just on principle, we should just destroy these volumes you have laid out here, but
Well,
they're yours.
Volume 3 is falling apart, so, I mean, it's getting there.
I see the Ravages of Time are doing what we are not.
Yeah.
No, I think you pretty much covered it.
Yeah, if you want a good Kazuo Koike Ryoichi Kagami collaboration, check out Crying Freeman, which it's still mainlining a lot of testosterone, but not to the toxic levels that Wounded Man does. And at the same time, though, there's also Offered, which is another lost to the series that Comics One published along with Wounded Man that apparently involves like an MIT genius taking on Nazis for a buried treasure that I have not yet read, but probably should. And
yeah, Nazis! Let's kill them all.
Yeah, because you can't go wrong with fighting Nazis. And also Koike's signature work, Lone Wolf and Cub, is being republished by Dark Horse in a series of Lone Wolf and Cub is being republished in a series of Omnibuy. So that's worth checking out as well. Wounded Man, it's been out of print for a good long while now, and if you can't find it, then no great loss there.
Well, I'll tell you, I just did a quick search on Amazon, and unlike other manga you find out there that's out of print and is highly in demand, and people are asking outrageous prices for, that's not the case with this series.
Oh, really? So what did you find, John?
I found out that people are selling it used for pretty much the cover price of these things when they were published. So you can buy them for about $14 a volume.
Wait, they're saying used for $14?
Yeah.
That's actually not bad, because if it's selling for a cover price, like after being out of print for so long, if it was being sold for like say $2, then I'd be saying that's about right. That's what it deserves. But apparently, it's like the fact that it has the name recognition from its creators, such as it is. I have to admit, that's actually not bad.
Yeah. Well, that's their asking price. Whether these people are actually selling them at that price is a totally different question.
You've got a point there.
So, all right. Is there anything else?
Next time, we'll likely be talking about a much better series. Probably either Usagi Yojimbo or ElfQuest, depending on what I get around to reading in 2 weeks' time.
I say you go for Usagi Yojimbo, but all right. That'll be it for Comics Fixed by the Glick, and we'll catch you later.
Thanks, Steve.
Anytime.
Thanks, Steve. Bye.